here watching a video about a dumb phone, which is just someone using a flip phone that is it just doesn't have social media, none of that stuff. It makes me think, like, how many times are we going to just fall victim to the scroll? And I'll say this because I have fell victim to the scroll. I have ordered a whole different phone that has a keyboard to give me that more tactile feeling. And I type on a computer for work and stuff, and there's only so long you can type before your hands are like, all right, I want to do something else. I gotta get up, I gotta do something. Also, I'm gonna take this from a different standpoint as well. I am on an 80-day plan to become or fully embody being an intuitive healer. What that means is I understand when we go through life, there are different emotions that we have to process, different experiences that our bodies are working through, because if you don't deal with it, it gets stuck in the body, like with trapped emotions. And also, like, just understanding your energy centers and knowing how your emotions affect you and really being able to process that is what I want to help with others, because I am empathic and I feel other people's emotions. And I've realized over these past few days, when I embody myself in my own energy, as long as I'm good, we're good. But once I get into other people's energy and I'm in their field, like their aura, whatever they are having a hard time processing, I end up feeling that. So I have taken it upon myself to learn a lot of these modalities because I was getting affected a lot. Like, so many things would happen. Like, I would have a very bad pain in my shoulder, didn't know what was causing it. I'd be over there just putting on icy hot again and again. It wasn't ever a physical, oh, I hurt myself here type of pain. It was always something energetic, because once I learned like smoke clearing or just Reiki and something to get rid of that, it will go away instantly. And that opened my eyes to these different healing modalities, because I was like, if I'm being affected by other people's emotions, how can I ensure I help myself? And once I've helped myself, I can go back and share these with anyone who's open to hear it. So that has been something that I truly enjoy, for one, because this can help so many people, because a lot of the pains that we go experience, we don't have to hold on to them. If you have a way to cure it, why wouldn't you? Unless it was serving you in some other way and you need a deeper lesson out of it. But if you understood what you were going through and you were ready to release it, let's release it. So I am just ready to step into this next phase of my life of becoming an intuitive healer to help others understand that they can heal themselves. So people that are around them, and it's just interactions are better. Life is just better when you know that you can release all that weight, all that baggage. So 80 days. The first day was yesterday, so this is day 2. Yesterday showed me something so great. It was that if you're gonna work on becoming a healer and helping other people, and it's like I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to those who are also looking to join this path, the importance of truly grounding yourself, especially if you're empathic, the importance of grounding yourself in your energy and making sure you're not holding on to others as you go on about your day. Like, think about this at work. You're going to your job and you're stuck in traffic. All right, you've gathered the energy from being stuck in traffic, like your angry road rage, all of that. You make it to your job. You're still holding on to that road rage when you make it into that door. So that's the foundation that's on there. And then your manager, gets on your coworker gets on your nerves, and then that's something that you're holding on to. The day's over. You're steady holding on to emotions. The bucket is filling up. You go home, and the kids ain't take chicken out the freezer. Ain't no food to cook. that has stacked on too, and now your bucket is just full, and you're going to just pour it out on whoever is next in line, whoever is in front of you. And those are things that I realized about myself when I didn't learn how to release certain energy. Like, sometimes you just gotta let it roll off your back, honestly. But when it comes to picking up other people's energy, say someone came into work with a bad mood. If you came into work with a bad mood and people can tell there's tension in the air, I know for empathic people that are picking up on that, sometimes they absorb that. It's like when you throw something in the water and all the ripples, like the water is absorbing that, but you can see how far out it's it's affecting. So, and I don't know if that analogy is really making sense. I'm trying to get this point across, but overall, it's about really understanding your emotions, yourself, and really getting to the point where you can release that energy, so that way less and less things affect you. And even if they do affect you, you know how to handle it. Back to what yesterday taught me, the importance of grounding my energy. Yesterday was my day 1 of the intuitive healing journey, and one of the things that I asked for before starting this journey is to be able to understand how my body is receptive to other people's emotions. Because if I know that I go out in the world and I want to use my body as an antenna, conduit, whatever, to understand what's going on around me, to help, the person that is asking for it, how would I know what's going on, right? So, and the day started with a headache. And the headache was very minor, it was very minute. It was just like I could take a nap and it would be gone. But then the day progressed, and I tried to take that nap, but it felt like my energy was shaking, like my body was shaking. If anyone who's ever tried to purposefully astral project or have some sort of out-of-body experience, it felt like my energy was trying to just get out of my body. But it was like a dizzy feeling. Or if you've ever spun around in a circle way too much and you feel dizzy, that's what it felt like. And I was trying so hard, but I knew that sleeping was not actually gonna help that. So I got up and I continued on about the day. We were at a family gathering and we were having dinner, so I was making food, and it just felt like my energy was off. I was so frustrated. I just was not happy. And considering the day before, I had a great time. Didn't really have any issues. Energy was fine. So there was a conversation that I had kind of like the night before the day 1, that I realized I absorbed so many emotions from. And I didn't think about it too much because I thought I really sealed up my energy before I left. But sealing up my energy wasn't enough for me, because I also, when I got home that day, I didn't ground myself. I didn't release the energy of the day. So I kind of just held on to it. So fast forward back into the headache, it was getting worse. It just felt like there were moments where I felt literally so dizzy, like it felt like I was about to fall over, or I'm just like leaning back, like I'm just looking off into the distance, and I just look tired, I feel tired, I'm dizzy, my brain is just all over the place. And I was just sitting and I was just like, why am I so angry? Like, why am I mad? Why do I feel combative right now? And the day, it was getting to the point where that energy was showing towards other people. It was like, you getting on my nerves and all this other stuff. And it's like I knew it wasn't them, but I was just taking it out on them. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I could feel the tears coming up. Like, before I made it to the event, I felt like I needed to cry. I felt like I needed to just let it out. And I was just like, I am more used to now of like understanding the emotional purge. Like, get the emotions out, do what you gotta do, all of that, because a physical release is really good. But I was just like, it was getting to the point where it's like, I don't feel like these feelings are mine. Like, I am mad about things that I ain't even been mad about in a while. Like, I don't care. So it got to the point where the headache was getting bad. I had an issue with going off on somebody, but not really like knowing that this wasn't even related necessarily. It's deep down I knew it wasn't related, but it's like the way I was portraying it, like that mind, the ego, it was just coming off in that way. So I started about crying. Like I went to a room, I sat down and I just cried. The headache started getting worse. Like it was the migraine at the point. It got to a point I couldn't even open my eyes. And I'm like, as I'm going on this, day one was very like very eye-opening. But as I'm going on with this, I'm starting to notice in hindsight that the progression of the headache got worse when the energy that I absorbed it from became very relevant. So I was at a point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home. Let's get away, get out of the environment. I was on the car ride home. I could finally, the headache was like, all right. But I was on the car ride home and I realized I can use the emotion code. So I didn't have the chart with me, and that's okay. Like I didn't have the chart, but I went based off of the first few emotions that I could tell were there, and I released those. And then when I finally got home and I parked, I went through the chart and I was just like, any emotions related to this headache, we are releasing it. And released it. It felt like the headache wasn't even there for real. Like it got to the point where it felt almost as if it felt just like how it did before I left home, which is like I could sleep this off. So I realized, okay, I started asking my intuition, asking my body, asking my spirit guides, is the emotion code enough to release this? It was like, yes. Is the emotion code enough to release, my bad, not the emotion code. Is smoke clearing enough? I like to soak in the tub for like one of my really like cleansing practices. Soak in the tub with some Epsom salt, get all of it off of me. So I was just like, is a soak, really going to cleanse this energy? Because there was minute pain left after I cleared out the emotions, because I got done with the emotion code, and then there was the asking of, are there any more emotions to release? And there were no more emotions to release, which was great. And I went ahead and just decided, okay, it's a new week coming up, it's Sunday. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna soak anyway. I'm gonna light my incense, Palo Santo and white sage. Beautiful when it comes to clearing anything that's like negatively holding on to you. That has been like my go-to to doing that. It works every time for me. For you, check and see, always do your own trial errors, your own experiments. But that helped so much. Like soaking in the tub, lighting my incense, praying over my water, doing my Reiki. Those modalities and understanding how they work for me are such a lifesaver. Because I could tell if I didn't release that, it would just carry on day after day after day. And I'm just really excited that I have these experiences, and I really do want to share them. But I understand, like when I asked my spirit guides, like, am I absorbing these emotions because they're not ready to process them, or they don't understand how to process them? That let me know, like, this may not be their time to really deal with those emotions. And also, and the thing is, they may be aware of them, and they might just not know how to deal with them. Because what I want to talk about with the healing modalities is, I feel like people forget that you can release these emotions and they can come back because you don't understand how to truly process them and cope with them in a very different way that's a little bit more healthier for you. So the only things, your tolerance, your patience might be different. Like you might approach the situation, like say stubbing your toe. Stubbing your toe could hurt, and your first reaction is to yell, cuss, whatever. But your toe, if you stub your toe enough times, eventually it'll become like numb to the process. Sometimes. But therapy understanding of the actual emotion and like how you best deal with it is still required in my mind. You can release all the emotions you want to because you're just releasing that energy, but you have to understand like the awareness, the knowledge of the emotion and how to handle it, so that way you know you're not reacting the same time same way you always do. Is going to help you more in the long run. Like, these healing modalities are things we can all do. There are easy, quick fixes because it's naturally within us to do this. But like, what's also natural is for a lesson to repeat until we've learned it and understand it, and know how to proceed a different way. So that is something that you gotta take into account, especially if you're on a healing journey in general. But yeah, once I released all of those emotions, it felt like it was all gone. I felt like I returned to my natural state of being. It was great to really know that I don't have to sit in pain all day, because I don't take medicine or nothing for headaches. I sit it out. I do what I have to do. I drink enough water. I go to sleep. Something, whatever I gotta do. I eat food. If I know that I have a headache, I will not take medicine for it. And now I have to pay attention, because again, when I'm asking for signs for me to like understand how I'm absorbing emotions for people, how I'm processing them, and what to do, to ground myself and to help them like get the signal. I know if I have a headache, and it's like, again, it can mean many different things, but I know if I have a headache and I've been good and things are, stable at this point, I got enough rest, all of that, it's time to look into the energetics of it. Did I absorb emotions for someone? I can start doing my work early so I don't have to reach the point of a migraine and crying and all of that stuff. I had the signal in the beginning, but I didn't know it was a signal. So this is like a journey for my body to tell me how it's responding, and for me to understand what to do with that. So I like this process already. I'm excited to see what happens. Since I do have a bunch of healing modalities up my sleeve, I will use them sooner. I will make note of them sooner than later, so that way I'm not in a point of like messing up my whole energy and taking it out on others, especially if I don't have to. So that's an initial progress, I guess, video that I want to talk about with stepping into my 80-day plan of becoming an intuitive healer. That is going to be, I want to do like 10-day updates essentially, but I'll talk in like another video about what the actual plan is.